I hope you're all doing well out there, and today we're going to talk about the SKS rifle and what I love about it so much. And we're going to take a deeper look at a rare SKS rifle. Stay tuned to Gun Locker 75 and we'll get into some SKS rifles. What can I say? I'm excited today for this video. I think it's going to be a fun video for you SKS lovers out there. This is an Albanian SKS, one of the rarest SKSs around. There's 5 major manufacturers of SKSs: Russia, China, Romania, Yugoslavia, and Albanian. And Albanian, out of all of those, is the rarest. There's somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000 of these in the US, it's estimated. It's hard to get a real accurate count on just how many there are. Most of the Albanians that made it into the US are in very poor condition. A lot of them are non-numbers matching. This one happens to be a numbers matching. Also happens to be in pretty good condition. So let's set this one down. I'll show you a quick look of some of the other manufacturers. This is a Russian. So here's a look at what a Russian would look like. Blade bayonet versus the spike bayonet. Alright, let's take a look at a Yugoslavian. The Yugoslavian has the grenade launcher on the end and the big flip up grenade sight. Give you a look at that. Plus you could turn the gas system on and off, which is pretty interesting. So you got your big old flip up. So there's a look at the grenade launcher Yugoslavian. Now I don't have a Romanian to show you, but so I have 4 out of the 5 manufacturers. Here's a Chinese, Type 56. This one resembles the Albanian the most. Some of your major differences would be the Albanian has a longer stock than all the others, so you can't take an Albanian rifle and drop it in one of the other stocks. You can see it's longer. Hook shaped bolt handle, curved profile to the magazine. So right here you have a bigger curve than your typical SKS. You have 2 trap doors in the back as opposed to 1. You have a slightly shorter spike bayonet than a Chinese. I don't have a Chinese with a spike bayonet here, but the Albanian is slightly shorter. Plus, it's every time I've ever seen an Albanian bayonet, they've been black. The Albanian was produced from 67 to 78, but there was 3 years from 72 to 75 that they stopped production, and there's no knowledge of any produced during that time. There is a batch of rifles that have no dates on them. It's said that those are probably some of the earlier models. This is a 78, so this is the last year that they were produced. One thing about the Albanian, you'll find many different finishes on these rifles. The Russians have some of the best finishes, I think, out of all the SKSs. Your Albanians tend to always be orange, kind of an orangey color. And every one I've ever seen, and it's kind of hard to see it, but up close you'll see it's got a little bit of like a crackle in the finish. All the Albanians that I've come across have had that finish. The Albanian is 8.5 pounds with a chrome line barrel. Most of your SKSs do have chrome line barrels. The Yugoslavian does not. I know the Russians all have chrome line, Albanians all have chrome line. I believe all the Chinese do. Not sure about Romanian. So anyways, it's kind of a nice look at a rare rifle. I mean, you don't see these very often. You know, I just think I've always liked and appreciated the SKS, and of course I wanted the one that was the hardest to get. So to give you kind of some price comparisons, you know, your Chinese, depending on which kind it is, I've seen them anywhere from $279 to say $500 on average, depending on which one it is. Of course, there are rare versions of every SKS rifle that can go into the thousands, depending on if it was a, you know, a bring back where, you know, it wasn't imported. So if like a soldier brought it back, those bring the highest value. Your Russians are generally 500 to like 800 roughly, give or take. Once again, these are just rough ballpark. If you show up at a gun show, what to expect numbers. There are Russian rifles that are in the thousands upon thousands, you know, because they're just extremely rare and built in a certain area and carried by a certain soldier. So I'm just talking basic run-of-the-mill, show up at a gun show and find an SKS price. Yugoslavians are usually around 500 bucks. Romanians I've seen, you know, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7-ish. Albanians are like 7 to 12. Most commonly I see them like 800, 900, 1,000 for an Albanian, but once again that just depends on what it is. This is just my experiences of going around to gun shows and gun broker and looking at average SKS rifles, not unique, you know, hard to find like war heirloom type stuff. So there were some SKSs made in East Germany and North Korea, very small amounts, impossible to find in the US. So the Albanian ends up being the rarest of the major 5 and the SKSs that you will find in the United States. Now we'll do a basic field strip of the Albanian SKS. All the SKSs, as far as this goes, are the same from what I've seen. This will just be your basic field strip for cleaning purposes. We start with this lever here. We pull it up. You want to kind of hold on to the back of this because it's under spring pressure sometimes. Once you get it to this point, you can pull it all the way out. Take the top cover off, pull the recoil spring out, and then your bolt, which comes out in 2 pieces. And then basically now it's ready to be cleaned. You should open up the mag here, especially when putting it back together. Now we got our 2-piece bolt. And there we go. Drop it in like so. The curved end goes in first. I usually push it and get it to hold right here, just so you can get the cover on easier. So I kind of lock it right there. We slide the top cover on so we can go ahead and close our magazine. Top cover on, push the pin back through and down. What I usually do is I kind of pull it out and then help it down just so you don't scratch it. Just want to make sure we're all good. Safety's on. And she's good to go. I hope you enjoyed the Albanian SKS. Let me know if you want to see some more SKS videos. I got quite a few SKSs. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.